Welcome back folks to another rebuild on the channel, and we're going back to Chelsea, which I think we did one back in January, but things have escalated so quickly since then with new manager in January, Liam Rosenior. He's gone 4 months later in April, I think it was. However, and on the back of that, they're on the losing streak in the league, 5 games on the bounce they have lost without scoring a goal. The last win coming way back at the beginning of March against Aston Villa, where I think they won 4-1. They've tried it with the youth. We are going to be trying to win them the Premier League and the UCL, which they convincingly got dumped out of by PSG in the round of 16, may I add, even though they have got to the FA Cup final, so well done to them. But we are going to go with experience. They've tried it with the youth, like I say. We're going to go with experience. We can't sign anybody under the age of 30. So 30 and above is the early signings we are allowed to make. And we're going to see if the senior players can take this club, which seems to be diving down the table rather than climbing, and are in danger of not getting a European place. As you can see, they're lying in 8th position, just outside the European places. They might possibly squeeze into a European place, but also you can see all them losses there as well. The worst team on form. Even Wolves have a better form than they have, and Burnley. Even Spurs actually, and that says an awful lot. So that is going to be our task in these next 5 seasons. If we can do that, inside the 5 seasons, then great. We will finish the video as soon as we have completed both tasks. So let's go ahead and look at the squad that we have got. And the first team, we've got 4 goalkeepers. The eldest is Sanchez, 27 years old. So yeah, we may need to bring in a more experienced goalkeeper. I think that could be something we may need to look at. Even though they got Jurgensen, who's 23, who would be pretty good if we were just doing it youth players, but we are wanting to bring in older players. But as we can see, the eldest player is 27 years old. So our average age must be very, very low indeed. Cole Palmer. I mean, players like this we would love to keep, but maybe these are the problem players. We don't know. Casado as well, fantastic player. If we can find a decent player to replace them, then great. If not, then we'll try and hang on to some of these if we can. Just the best players. We don't want to disband the whole team, but we do only want to sign 30 plus and see if that will help them. Maybe a mixture of experienced and young players. Maybe that might be the way to go. The club finances are very healthy indeed. They have got 20 million in the transfer kitty left to spend for this season, and they've got a mammoth 163 in the bank. Although I've just seen the debts. Wow, that is a massive debt. 377 million pounds of debt and 238 in transfer debt. That'll be signing players over 10 seasons, isn't it, really, to be fair? I mean, look at Liam Rosenior. They signed him on a 6-year deal, sacked him after 4 months. I mean, that's just crazy. So the club vision, obviously we're not going to follow everything. Increase commercial revenue, that's a gimme, as usual with a club this size. Grow the club's reputation, expand the stadium and work within the budget. Okay, we can do that. Culture, sign high reputation players. Sign players under the age of 23 for the future. That's not going to happen. We're signing 30 and above. We're bringing experienced players in. 5-year plan, be competitive, qualify, reach the last stages, work towards, keep working towards, challenge for the Premier League title 3 years in, work towards. Do they want to win it? Win the Premier League by season 4. It'd be nice to see if we can win that beforehand. And the Champions League maybe? Continue to win the Premier League. Okay. Nothing about the Champions League. That's okay, there's no pressure, but we're putting pressure on ourselves instead. With little money to spend, we still managed to spend 25 million, converting some of the wages into transfer kitty. We couldn't really offload anybody because nobody was biting, so unfortunately we still got a full complement of players, but we do bring an additional 3. Lobotka comes in from Napoli, £14.5 million to play as our DM. He looks absolutely superb, 30 years old. We should be able to get a fair stint out of him for a few years at least anyway. Next up is Icardi from Galatasaray, a forward. He's had 1 assist already in 3 games, not scored yet, but we're bringing him for £10 million, a forward to play up front. And finally we're bringing Philip Coutinho because he was a free. He's played 2 games for us already. Any more than that and he will never leave. We do bring him in on 67 grand a week though, so it's not as much as in previous saves that we've had over the years. that he's on hundreds of thousands of pounds a week. So yeah, pretty happy with that in the end. But we'll see what he can do in the season. If he does well, we may renew. We shall see. The squad, we've locked in the 3 players that we have brought in, and we're starting off with a 4-3-3 at the moment. Again, we could just have 2 DMs and go to a normal 4-2-3-1, which seems to work quite well. But we'll see how this goes instead. It hasn't been our own way, I must admit. We've had a couple of losses. A shock result against Charlton, but we're really just finding our feet. And then once the signings come in, we haven't really produced anything great. A lot of draws. We started off the campaign against Palace with a 3-0 win, which was great, which was a great start as well. And I thought, hey, we could be onto something here. And then we drew with West Ham and Fulham. The Champions League for this season, which I think is going to be pretty difficult. We've got Inter Milan, Juventus, Union Saint-Gilloise, Marseille, Barcelona, Frankfurt, Celtic and Bodo Glimt. I'm expecting to at least get to the knockout stage this season. We are currently lying in 7th position, 5 points. We are unbeaten, so that's the one big plus. And we've only conceded 1 goal, which is great. However, we are below Spurs, which is shocking. They're unbeaten. They've had 2 wins against Burnley and Bournemouth and drew with, wow, Man City. That's quite a good result, actually. And we are predicted to finish in 5th position, so that's not too bad. So even with them 3 signings, we're still expected to be up there or thereabouts. So let's jump into our first season. Let's see how our veterans do and see if we can produce the goods and finish in a European spot, as they are failing to do so currently in real life. Right, our first season has finished and we finished a credible 5th position. I've got to be happy with that. We have got a couple of veterans in the side now. We only lose 6 games, all away from home. Brentford, Forest, Spurs, Palace, Aston Villa and Arsenal. So it's only Arsenal and Spurs really we struggled against. I think we did pretty well against everybody else actually. Manchester United, we beat them twice. Wow. What about Liverpool? We beat them twice. Goodness me. Man City beat them once, and I don't think we beat Arsenal at all. But wow, that's incredible. 59 goals scored, 40 against. It's not an awful lot, but it's steady, it's consistent. We did draw an awful lot of games, however, but 18 victories, so not even half the games played we won. Brentford won more games than us, including Spurs and Villa. Wow, okay, so yeah, we do need to up the ante with that. I think 68 points. We are in the Champions League spot though, just realised. However, the Carabao Cup, we got as far as the quarterfinals, I think it was, and we lose to Liverpool. Despite beating them in the league, we couldn't do it in the cup. And the same goes for the FA Cup as well. We lose to Aston Villa this time at the quarterfinal stage. 2 late goals sinking us out. The Champions League didn't get off to the best of starts with a 3-0 loss to Inter. We did, however, had a good game against Juventus, beating them 4-3. Union Saint-Gilloise, we beat 1-0. Marseille, we batter 4-1. We did lose to Barcelona, probably expected, and a 0-0 draw with Frankfurt before beating Celtic and finishing the league phase against Bodo Glimt with a 3-1 victory. So overall, we qualify straight to the round of 16. That is pretty good. Despite them couple of losses, Barcelona only just finished ahead of us. 16 points. Again, I'm happy. We're not using a young side. We have got a couple of veterans in there now. The round of 16, we were pitted against Manchester City and we lose the first leg 4-3 before bringing them home and battering them 2-0 with Hato and Palmer scoring the winners. The quarter-final stage, we played Real Madrid and again we come away with a loss in the first leg, but we couldn't turn it around in the second leg at home as we bow out 6-2 on aggregate overall. So our veterans, yeah, we do really need to pick up a couple of more. I think these veterans are going to last probably about a season or 2 and that's it. Where's Coutinho? It looks like he retired. Halfway through the season, he retired. Thanks. So this task might be more difficult than I expect. But 18 goals though for Icardi, only beaten by Cole Palmer with 19. That's incredible. 19 and 17 for Palmer. Icardi 18 and 6. I mean, it's not bad. He did play an awful lot of games. We really struggled. 2 players getting double figures in goals. It's not brilliant. What about Lobotka? What did he do? 1 goal. So going into next season, we have been given 85 million to find some more older players. And maybe if we sell a couple of players at the same time as well, we might be able to bring in the elite ones that they can come in and probably win it straight off the bat. And that is really what we're looking for. So we're going into season 2 window. Let's see who we can pick up. Cole Palmer was the main big shifter this window. He goes to Saudi for an incredible £110 million, a massive profit of 70, which is amazing. And we're trying to offload a couple of other players, but a loan deal to buy was the only best option we could have. Delap to Bournemouth. We've got Garnacho at Barcelona, Chalobah at Newcastle, Sarr at Birmingham. Yeah, there's a lot of players going on loan, including a couple of youngsters as well. So we're trying to offload some of the youngsters as much as possible, but because of how young they are and the mammoth contracts that they've got, it's quite hard to shift them. However, that did add to the pot, which enabled us to spend quite a lot this summer. Our first signing was from Galatasaray, £33 million. We bring in Leroy Sané to play out on the wings. Bring in Nathan Ake, £34 million from Manchester City to be our new left back. From Milan, a mammoth £74 million for Maignan, the goalkeeper, 31 years old, French international, looks absolutely superb and should improve our back line immensely. Bayern Munich gave us quite a lot of players, including Gnabry for £49 million, 31 years old, to play in cam or out on the wing. They even gave us Jonathan Tah for £34.5 million to play as our centre-back, the 6'5", 30-year-old. And finally, Goretzka, whose contract ended at the end of last season. He comes in on 110 grand a week, the 31-year-old, to play in midfield. So we are changing our formation to a 4-2-3-1 with all our veterans locked in. There's only Icardi really that we do need to replace, although he has scored 2 goals for us already this season, which is a good start. And a good start was with 2 wins and 2 draws, which is better than last season. And we've just beaten Wrexham in the Carabao Cup, 3rd round, beating them 6-3. The Champions League for this season, we have got Inter, Barcelona, Galatasaray, all the teams that we've took players from. Wonderful. Wonder how they came up with that draw. Slaven Bratislava, we've got Monaco, Roma, Rangers and Leipzig. We are currently lying 3rd in the table, which is another great start as well. 8 points, 2 points off Man City, who are top. And I think we should be in the chasing pack this season with the prediction 4th place by the media, and only one player in the Dream 11, and that's Reece James. So let's jump into season 2 and let's see if we can bring some silverware home this time around with a very much improved side, experienced if not young. The second season is over and we finished 5th once again. I think we're sort of worse off than last season. If we just have a quick look, we finished on 68 points and we only lost 6 games. So by going more attacking, we have got worse. We conceded 20 goals more as well and not scoring much more either from last season. Wow. Everton finish above us, Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal. We do finish ahead of Spurs, which is good. And wow, Manchester United have just got relegated. However, we do come away with the Carabao Cup though. We've just beaten Forest 2-1 after extra time. Ake getting the winner, with also him assisting in the 90th plus 8 minute of normal time. Wow, we really squeezed this one. In fact, we kind of dominated, but possession-wise, we were awful. We do, however, get knocked out of the semi-final stage in the FA Cup, losing after extra time, as we were 3-1 up in that game. And then Ekitike scoring the winner in extra time to win 4-3 overall. One domestic trophy. At least we've got one. The Champions League, however, we finished in 8th position. We qualified straight to the round of 16 once again with 4 victories over Barcelona, Galatasaray, Slaven Bratislava and Rangers. We drew with, if it tells me, Monaco, Roma and Leipzig, and only losing to Inter. That's not bad going at all. 20 goals scored, 7 against. We did far better in Europe than we did in our own league, actually, to be fair. 15 points. However, it was Real Madrid that went through unbeaten. So the round of 16 saw us go up against Dortmund, and after a 2-2 draw away in the first leg, we bring them back home and beat them 2-0, going through 4-2 on aggregate. The quarter-final stage, we played Bayern Munich, and a late equaliser gave us a 2-2 draw away from home, but it was the same story at home with João Pedro scoring a hat-trick in a 3-0 victory, sending us through to the semi-finals, where we played Roma and probably expecting to win this one, as we win 2-1 in the first leg and a Jackson winner in the second leg, giving us an overall 3-1 victory, sending us to our first final and hopefully on the way to completing one of our 2 tasks. Where we played Real Madrid in the final, the game goes into extra time after a 2-2 draw after 90 minutes. And it's João Pedro that pops up in the end to give us a 3-2 victory and tick our first task of 2 in this challenge. Unfortunately, it wasn't one of the veterans that scored the winner, but Gnabry did get on the end of one of them as we raced to a 2-0 lead after the hour. But Vinicius Jr. and Mbappe claw it back with 2 goals inside 3 minutes. And then in the 106th minute, João Pedro pops up yet again. Hato with the assist. Sané with the assist in the first one for Pedro. Pedro assisted for Gnabry. He's been involved in all 3 goals. But that is a fantastic way to finish the second season, as we win the Carabao Cup. Now we've won the Champions League as well. Unfortunate not to see Icardi on the score sheet in the final. However, he did score 20 goals this season with 2 assists. Pedro, 30 goals. He's 25 years old now. We're going to have to look at, I'm thinking Harry Kane. He's got to come in and replace Icardi. And yeah, he's still got a couple of years left in it, I'm sure he has. But he will be our #1 target. Gnabry weighs in with 17 and 11. Absolute phenomenal stuff. Delap did go out on loan and he scored 15 goals. Good for him. Jackson did well, 12 and 6. Esteval did play some games as well, but we're more concerned with our veterans. Sané, 14 assists, which is fantastic. Goretzka, 6 and 6. Not bad. He did play a phenomenal 64 games. Goodness me. Jonathan Tah, 3 and 3. Not bad from him either. Ake, 12 assists. Absolutely brilliant. Lobotka, 1 and 3. And Mike in goal. That's quite worrying. 77 goals conceded. He only played 58 games, which suggested any of our other goalkeepers play. Sanchez played 1 game. Jurgensen played 5 games. Maybe they had an injury or something, I don't know. But the veterans have done part of the job already for us, so I'm really, really pleased with that. But looking at all the goals, it's not surprising. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players on double digits, minus Delap ready because he was out on loan. And Garnacho was out on loan as well, only scoring 2 goals, so he didn't do too particularly well either. So we go again next season. Hopefully we'll have a little bit more money because, like I say, we are in for a striker next season. 75 million. I don't think that's going to cut it, as we have 126 million in the red. Wow, okay. And our debts are just ever climbing. I don't think we're going to change that at all. They have got a gift loan, 303 million, which is the only thing we have got in debt. Although how come we're 557 net debt? Have we got other loans? Because 303 and the 126 don't add up to that. Maybe it's the transfer debt on top. Anyway, let's go and spend this money. We need to bring in some more players as we're trying to aim for the Premiership now. Champions League's ticked off. Let's go and get that Premiership. What a productive window this has been. We sell £141 million worth of players and we bring in £171 million worth. Just before we get to the ins, let's have a look at the outs. Chalobah has gone to Newcastle for £38.5 million, all profit. And Salmino has gone to Saudi for £28.5 million, £13.5 million profit. We also lose Garnacho. He's gone to Barcelona for 27. Cucurella has gone to Manchester United for 13.75. Delap, Bournemouth, 12.5. Adebayo, 12.5 almost. It's gone to Everton. Santos has gone to Saudi, 8 million. A lot of money being thrown around. And getting on to the players in. Wow. Bernardo Silva, what a steal. £56 million for the 33-year-old. He's going to be playing on the, well, either cam or right-hand side. He looks superb. And while he's been pulling them figures out, he was quite happy to come over to the current Champions League champions. We also bring in Harry Kane. He was our major target this season. £38 million, 6 goals in 6 games. Stunning. What more can I say? If we can't win the Premiership Premiership with this guy. I don't know how we're going to do it. Dumfries comes from Inter to be on the right-hand side. Right back, £35.5 million. King Min Jae has come from Bayern Munich. £30 million to play in the defence. We even bring in Frank Kessie from PSG. He was just sitting around, not playing many games. £11.5 million. What a array of class players we've just brought in. I think we've got them on a 2-year contract, I think. But I'm hoping we're going to win it within that, because if we don't win the Premiership within that, we're going to lose some of these players, and it might be our final chance or our best chance of winning it. So let's have a look at what the team looks like now. Kane up front, Silva in the middle, Gnabry and Sané out on the wings. We've got Kessie, Goretzka in the DM position. Lobotka can come in. He's going to be as a backup, I think. Dumfries on the right, Tar, Kim Min Jae in the centre, with Ake on the left and Mignon at the back in goal. All I can say is this team looks pretty good and very expensive at the same time. We're unbeaten. We scored tons of goals in the friendlies. And I don't know what happened when we started the league. We played Ipswich, we drew 2-2. Really don't know what's happened there. But we did win the UEFA Super Cup, beating Juventus 2-1. So that's another European trophy, but it doesn't matter now. We're concentrating on the Premiership now. Coventry, we smashed 4-1. We drew with Palace, drew with Forest, and then beat Portsmouth in the Carabao Cup third round. So I'm hoping we're not going to have many draws. We should be winning games with the team that we have got. Champions League, we've got Real Sociedad, Inter, Napoli, Karabag, Lyon, Shakhtar, Bayern Munich and Milan. Like I say, Champions League is not priority, but if we're in there, we will get more money to spend in the window. We are currently in 7th position, one of 3 teams unbeaten. Arsenal and City are the other 2. We just need to convert them draws into wins. And we've moved into 4th position by the media to win the league. Doesn't tell us the odds though. I'm really disappointed at that, it has to be said. And amazingly, we have not got one player in the Dream 11. I don't get it. I'm sure if Silva was in Man City's team, he will be on that pitch. Where's Kane? Kane's not even there. This just does not make sense. So let's jump into season 3. Let's see if we can capitalise on the Champions League win last season, the UEFA Super Cup win this season, and can we come away with the Premiership before we start losing some of these players. Season 3 is over, and it's not how I expected it to go, it has to be said. Although we only just finished behind the eventual winners Liverpool, 8 points. And we did have a very good running towards the end, winning our last 5 games. We almost caught up with Arsenal, but City and Liverpool just far too good. All 3 of them actually into the 80s. We only lost 7 games. We did score 70 goals though. I wonder how much of that Kane scored. But 44 conceded. I'm not too concerned as long as we're putting the ball in the back of the net more times than we are conceding. But that title just seems to be very, very far away at the minute. However, we have got close, so it's a 4th place finish. Champions League once again, so that should improve our kitty. However, we did get knocked out by Burnley in the Carabao Cup 4th round, so there's no trophy there. And we also lost to Liverpool in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, losing 3-2 thanks to a Mo Salah goal in the 48th minute after Kane had equalised a minute earlier. Well, we seem to have done a little bit better in the Champions League then. We finished in 5th position. Going straight to the round of 16, we had 6 victories. Real Sociedad, Napoli, Karabag, Lyon, Bayern Munich and Milan. We drew with Inter and lost to Shakhtar. That is surprising. 19 points. So we don't finish top. Arsenal did again, but you know what? It doesn't really matter, it's what you do the rest of the competition. The round of 16 saw us against Real Sociedad as we draw 0-0 away from home before beating them at home 4-2 to progress to the quarterfinals, where we had a cracking game against Real Madrid, beating them 3-1, taking a 2-goal advantage into the second leg, where we lost 2-0, but we'd win on penalties. Mbappe and Valverde both missing the penalties there, and thankfully for us, we scored all 4 of ours. Semi-finals, once again. We played against Arsenal, and once again we had a good home victory, winning 3-1 with Kane scoring a brace. But a final was not to be this season as Arsenal beat us 3-0 at the Emirates, sending them through 4-3 on aggregate. And would you just look at that, Harry Kane. What a return to English football. 47 goals in 60 games. That is incredible. Still going strong at 34 years old. Silva, 19 and 21. Fantastic. Sané, 10 and 12. That's not too bad either, actually. And Gnabry, 5 and 14. Pedro played some games in there, the 26-year-old. However, Jonathan Tah, 5 goals from defence. Amazing stuff. Goretzka, 2 and 6. Brilliant. Nobody else really shining, unfortunately. Goalkeeping wise, Magnon. Yeah, 32. He seems to be dropping off a little bit, though, to be fair. Although some of his stats still look pretty high. 72 conceded in 60. Maybe we look elsewhere. Or do we need to? That's the thing. Maybe we just need to upgrade defenders, maybe. 16 clean sheets. Again, not too bad. But they have done the job once again. 4th place finish. Champions League. Latter stages of the Champions League this season as well. So going into next season, we'll probably need to upgrade some more. Oh, not an awful lot this time around. 180 in the bank, 69 million in the kitty. Our debt seems to have gone down a tad. 198 million now with the transfer debt of 76 million. So the transfer debt is coming down, obviously bringing that down as well, I think. I'm still disappointed we haven't got rid of that yet with 180 million in the bank. But I suppose that's the net debt. It's quite high though. Very, very high. But at least we've got 69 million unless we sell a couple of more players. Maybe Enzo, we let him go. He's not playing games. We might as well cash in on him. As well as Hato as well, actually. He's worth, I mean, there could be 200 million in there. We could make another stance to bring in some more veterans in, to show the youngsters how it's done. But it's always good to have some youngsters in there that can come in and deputise if they ever get injured though. Right, okay, let's jump into season 4 transfers and see who we've brought in. Okay, we've had another blast in the window as we sell quite a few players. £100 million worth. Quender's gone to Manchester United. Jurgensen's gone to Inter. Akapong, West Ham. We also lose Datro, Fofana and Menalo, Sarr and a couple of other players as well, which did enable us to expand our budget a fair bit and change some of our money into the wages as well, because they're vastly overspending, obviously. We did manage to bring in Gregor Kobel from Dortmund for £43 million, the goalkeeper coming in to replace our other number one. Grimaldo comes in as a left back from Atletico Madrid, £30 million, looks absolutely superb at 32. Kimmich comes in from Bayern Munich for £24 million. The 33-year-old is going to sit in either midfield or DM. We also bring Orsolini as a right winger. He looks absolutely superb once more as well. 31 years old. Marquinhos comes in as a defender. He can play DM as well. He comes in for 10 million. And we also bring on a free agent, a left winger, Marcus Rashford. He was available. He's played 1 game, 2 goals. Superb, playing at 8.4. Freebie. Can't ask for more than that, can we? Our squad looks like this now. It looks absolutely superb. The only player that we have actually got in, and I think that's Fernandez. I think he's the only player that we really could do with in that position. Goretzka, yes, he can play, but if we're going to have one player from the old squad, it's going to be Fernandez. So we're technically cheating a little bit because it's not all 30 and above. Maybe we bring Goretzka in there. But Fernandez, he's one player who really wanted to build a team around. He's 27 years old, so he's nearing the 30-year mark. So I'll leave that up to you whether it's cheating or not. But I think he's it's either him or Casado. And I want Kimmich to play. Kimmich can play in that position as well, and Casado can come down here instead. I'm thinking if we're going to win this title, it's going to have to be a mixture of old and new, or young and old. Fernandez is the only sub-30-year-old in the squad, or in the team. I think we're going to allow it, at least this time anyway. If it doesn't work, then we'll scrap it next season. Everything's gone our way so far in the fixtures. The friendlies were brilliant. 5-2 win over Marseille and then 0-0 against Hamburg. It just didn't make sense. Man City we drew 1-1 with first game of the season, so we didn't lose, so that's a plus. We beat Leicester, Newcastle and QPR in the Carabao Cup third round. The Champions League, again, we're not that much interested in, but if we can get to that stage of the competition once more money for us. Fenerbahce, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Basel, Napoli, Slavia Prague, Barcelona and Benfica. That could prove to be quite difficult this season. We're currently lying in 5th position. This is probably the best start we've had to a season. We're only 2 points off the leaders Liverpool. The media have predicted us 4th position. So let's jump into season. Still got nobody Oh, we have got James and Kimmich, although James isn't in the squad. That's bizarre. So let's jump into our 4th season. Let's see if we can capitalise on last year's form and see if we can get a little bit closer to the top of the table. If not, win it. It's taken to season 4 and Chelsea have finally won the Premiership with veterans, showing the youngsters how it's done. Liverpool lose 1 game in the last 5, which probably cost them the title really, as we remain unbeaten. 2 points to win the league by. And we only lose 2 games, but we draw an awful lot yet again. We win it by conceding only 22 goals, scoring 81. However, Liverpool conceded 33, but scored 90. So we just beat them on goal difference as well. Arsenal finished 3rd, Man City 4th. And there's a surprise. Brighton and Brentford in 5th and 6th. United in 7th, claiming the last European spot, with Newcastle, Villa, Spurs all missing out. Birmingham, Fulham and Crystal Palace going down. But that is the challenge complete. We have won the Champions League and we have won the Premiership title as well, using veterans. The Carabao Cup, we lost the first leg to Man City 2-0. City were always going to be a tough team in this competition. And the second leg we did get 1 goal, but we bow out 4-1 at the semi-final stage, unfortunately. The FA Cup, we didn't fare any better really. We got knocked out of the quarter-final stage, losing to Brentford after extra time, 105th minute. Reece James' own goal. Why was he even... Oh, Dumfries was injured, that's why. Oh dear. The Champions League didn't get off to the best of starts either. Not doing so well, maybe putting too much effort into the Premiership this time around. But we lose to Fenerbahce in the first game 1-0. We got humbled by Real Madrid in the Bernabeu. Battered by Bayern Munich. And a disappointing 0-0 draw at home to Basel. We did, however, beat Napoli 3-1 though, before smashing Slavia Prague 5-0. A good result against Barcelona, 1-1. We were winning this one until Yamal's equalised in the 95th. And we smashed Benfica 6-3. Giving us a very disappointing 19th place. That's not ideal. We qualified to the next round, but it's very, very disappointing. There was only Inter Milan that was unbeaten and they finished in 10th position, winning 4 and drawing 4. In the knockout rounds, we played Napoli. After demolishing them in the league phase, we drew 1-1 at home in the first leg before a surprise 2-1 loss away from home. So since winning it, we haven't really done an awful lot. But like I said, we probably concentrated a lot on the Premiership title this time around. And boy, has it paid off, really. And Harry Kane does not disappoint. 39 goals in 55 appearances this season. Absolutely superb. Still looks great. Up to £15 million worth now. His stats look amazing. He's losing a bit of pace and acceleration, but everything else, that's insane. Only got another year on the contract on him as well. Bernardo Silva, 13 and 15, 11 and 5 for Esteval. So he got some game time on that right-hand side. Orsolini didn't get as much, which I'm quite surprised at. 8 and 8, however. So that was pretty good either way. 12 assists there for Grimaldo. Not bad. 15 for Reece James. So what happened to our right back? Dumfries, he must have got injured quite a bit then. 1 and 7. Yeah, not exactly the best, but Reece James, good substitute to have. He's nearly 30 now as well, so that's always good and handy to have. Kimmich, 3 assists. Again, disappointing. Goalkeepers, Kobo, 47 and 57. That is a lot better. 25 clean sheets, which is absolutely amazing. So this game save will be available for you on Ko-fi.com. I'll leave the link down in the description if you so wish to take the file on and have a look around it. And if you want to carry on using veterans only, or veteran saves at least anyway, and see what you can do with them. Or maybe you just want to sell them all off and bring in the youth once again. But yeah, so like I say, it will be available to you, and also with that you will be given some money as well, obviously. 44 million, so the money's going down, but you have got a lot in wages. £1 million per week available, and there's still a net debt of £169 million. You have got 157 in the bank, so that's kind of nice. So this is the formation we did use. Of course, you can get this on the file save, obviously, if you go to Ko-fi.com. Team instructions, not an awful lot though, to be fair. That's all it is. Don't use that much at all. Final third, progression and build up. Okay, out of possession. Overview. It's that. High press, mid block, and low block as well. Everybody back. I think it's just the default formation with just a few tweaks. Not an awful lot though, to be honest. And out of possession, everybody comes back. So that's where we're going to end this video. 4 seasons we have completed our little challenges, namely the Champions League and the Premiership with veterans. And it can be done. I think nowadays you need to have experience with the youth. You can't go in all youth. Also, I did forget to mention, you will be in the Club World Club Championship as well, if you decide to take this file on as well. So yeah, that'd be quite a nice one to do. So thank you very much for watching. If you've watched this far, you are absolute legends. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Smash that like button and we'll see you again on the next one. Thank you.